crochet lovers, and welcome to my channel Spaß mit Faden. Today I want to show to you how I crocheted this beautiful poncho. I crocheted my poncho for myself in a size extra large, and as you can see it turned out very beautiful. I now want to tell you what you'll need to crochet together with me your poncho, but first make sure to subscribe my channel and like and comment this video. And I really do hope that you enjoy the instructions. To crochet now together with me your poncho, you'll of course need some yarn. I decided today to use this beautiful colored yarn, and I used 500 grams of my wool for my whole poncho. Although my waistband I crocheted with the white yarn, and of my white yarn for my waistband I used 50 grams. Although I crocheted my poncho with a 4mm hook and a scissor to cut off your yarn ends. We want to start to crochet our poncho from its neckline first. And for this I now want to create a slip knot and then insert my hook into that slip knot and pull my slip knot tight. I now want to start to crochet by chaining chain stitches. For chain I always want to yarn over and pull my yarn through the loop on my hook. This was now my first chain. I yarn over and pull my yarn through the loop on my hook, my second, my third, fourth and my fifth chain stitch. And like this I now want to crochet 78 chains. In the description of this video I'll write down to you how long my neckline got with the 78 chains. If you want your neckline to be longer than mine, you can crochet more chain stitches, and we want to do that by always crocheting in 12 steps. So this means I now crochet 78 chain stitches. If you want your neckline to be longer, you can crochet 90 or 102 chain stitches too. And once you crochet now your chain stitches, we'll meet up again, and I want to show you how we want to start to crochet our first row. I crocheted now my 78 chain stitches. What we now want to do all together, and it doesn't matter if you crocheted 78 or maybe 90 chain stitches, is to crochet 4 more chains. So this is my first, my second, my third and my fourth chain. And now I want to crochet into the fourth chain from my hook my first double crochet. So what I now want to do is to count 3 of those chain stitches back. This is my first, second and my third chain stitch, and into that fourth chain stitch from my hook I now want to crochet a double crochet. For this I want to yarn over and insert my hook now into that fourth chain from my hook. Then I want to yarn over again and pull my yarn through this chain. I do have now 3 loops on my hook. I want to yarn over and pull my yarn first through the first 2 loops. Then I want to yarn over one more time and pull my yarn through the last 2 loops too. This was now my first double crochet. I want to show it to you one more time. I yarn over and now I continue with this following chain. I insert my hook into it, yarn over and pull my yarn through. And again I do have now 3 loops on my hook. I now want to yarn over and pull my yarn first through the first 2 loops. Then I want to yarn over one more time and pull my yarn through the last 2 loops too. Like this I now want to crochet into each of those chain stitches 1 double crochet. Once you're at the end of your chain stitches, I want to show you how we want to complete our first row and start with our second one. I'm now nearly at the end of my first row with my double crochets. As you can see I've got 1 last chain stitch left, and of course I want to crochet into my last chain stitch too, 1 double crochet to complete my first row. For the beginning of my second row and every following row while crocheting my poncho, I now want to crochet 3 chains like this and then turn my whole work around. These 3 chains we now want to count as our first stitch. Because of this I want to skip this stitch here at the edge, and I now want to crochet onto that second stitch in my row a back post double crochet. And I want to show to you how I do that. For back post double crochet I want to yarn over, and as I said we want to crochet our back post double crochet now onto that second stitch. And because it's a back post double crochet I want to move my hook at the back of my work and insert it through this big gap right before the stitch I want to crochet my back post double crochet on, the second one. Then I want to put my hook through this following gap here, like this, and as you can see, we grabbed up now the second stitch in the row. I want to yarn over and pull my yarn now through these 2 spaces back, and I do have 3 loops on my hook. I want to yarn over and pull my yarn through the first 2 loops, then I want to yarn over and pull my yarn through the following 2 loops too. I want to show to you one more time how I crochet a back post double crochet. For this I now want to continue with this following stitch in my row. I want to yarn over and again move my hook at the back of my work and insert it through this gap right before the stitch that I now want to crochet a back post double crochet on, the following one. And then I want to grab the stitch up by pulling my hook through this following space, yarning over and pull my hook now through these 2 spaces back. I do have again 3 loops on my hook, and I want to yarn over and pull my yarn now through the first 2 loops. Then I want to yarn over one more time and pull my yarn through the last 2 loops too. Like this, we now want to crochet in our second row onto every stitch that is coming 1 back post double crochet. And once you're at the end of your row, I want to show to you how we want to close up row number 2 and start our third row. I'm now nearly at the end of my second row. As you can see, I do have left 1 double crochet and my 3 chain stitches that I skipped in the beginning of my first row. I now want to crochet onto that double crochet, my last back post double crochet for my second row. And then I want to insert my hook on top of that third chain right here and crochet 1 usual double crochet to complete my second row. I now want to start row number 3 again by chaining 3 chain stitches, and then I want to turn my whole work around. These 3 chain stitches we want to count again as our first stitch. And because we count those 3 stitches as our first stitch, I now want to really skip the stitch right here on the edge, and then I want to crochet onto that second stitch here, my first front post double crochet. In row number 3, we now want to crochet on top of each of those stitches our front post double crochets. I want to show you how I crochet a front post double crochet. I yarn over and I want to insert my hook now because we want to crochet it, as I said, onto that second stitch, my hook from the front of my work through this first space here, and then I want to grab up the second stitch by just inserting my hook through this other space right behind my stitch. I want to yarn over and pull my yarn again through those 2 gaps here. Now I do have 3 loops on my hook, and I want to yarn over and pull my yarn first through the first 2 loops, and then I want to yarn over again and pull my yarn through the last 2 loops too. This was now my first front post double crochet. I want to show it to you one more time. I yarn over and now I want to crochet onto that following stitch. Because it's a front post double crochet, I now want to insert my hook into that space right before my stitch that I want to crochet on, and then I want to grab up my stitch by pulling my hook through this following gap here. I yarn over and I want to put my yarn now through these 2 spaces like this, and I do have 3 loops on my hook. I want to yarn over and first pull my yarn through these first 2 loops, then I want to yarn over and pull my yarn through my last 2 loops. Like this, we now want to crochet, as I said, in our third row on top of each of those stitches our front post double crochets. And once you completed the crochet onto each stitch a front post double crochet, we'll meet up again at the end of row number 3 and start together to crochet row number 4. I'm now at the end of my third row. On top of this following last stitch right here, I want to crochet again 1 front post double crochet, and then I have my 3 turning chains left, and on top of that third chain I want to crochet again 1 double crochet as we've always done it. Now I completed to crochet my 3rd row, and for the beginning of my 4th row, I again want to crochet my 3 chains and turn my whole work around. In our 4th row, we now want to start to crochet our cable pattern. For this, I now want to crochet first 3 double crochet on top of that following 3 stitches. So for double crochet, I want to yarn over and insert my hook onto that 2nd stitch right here and crochet 1 double crochet. Then I want to crochet 1 more double crochet, the 2nd one, on top of this following stitch. And my 3rd and last double crochet, I now want to crochet on top of that 3rd stitch in my row like this. Now we want to start to crochet our cable pattern. For this, we now want to crochet 6 front post double crochets. This is my 1st front post double crochet, my 2nd one, my 3rd front post double crochet, my 3rd front post double crochet, number 4, my 5th front post double crochet, and my 6th and last front post double crochet. And now that I crocheted my 6 front post double crochets, I want to crochet into that space in between my 6th front post double crochet and the following stitch 1 double crochet. With this simple double crochet, we now want to separate our cable patterns. So I insert my hook after my 6th front post double crochet into that big space right here and crochet 1 double crochet. And now I want to crochet again for my next cable pattern, 6 front post double crochets. This is the 1st one, my 2nd, my 3rd front post double crochet, number 4, my 5th front post double crochet, and my 6th front post double crochet. And after that, I want to crochet again after my 6th front post double crochet and this following stitch right here into this big gap 1 double crochet. And like this, we now want to complete to crochet row number 4. Always crochet 6 front post double crochets, and after that you want to crochet into the space after your 6th front post double crochet and the following stitch 1 double crochet. And once you've done that along the whole row, I want to show you how we want to complete row number 4 and start with row number 5. I'm now already at the end of my 4th row. The last thing that I've done is to crochet again my 6 front post double crochets, and now I want to complete my 4th row the same way that I started it. As you can see, I do have here 3 stitches and my 3 turning chains left, and on top of each of those stitches I now want to crochet a double crochet. This is my 1st, my 2nd and my 3rd double crochet, and after that I want to crochet again onto that 3rd chain here 1 double crochet to complete my 4th row. And I want to start now my 5th row the same way that we always do it, by chaining 3 turning chains, and then I want to turn my whole work around. These 3 chains we want to count again as our 1st stitch, and we now want to complete every row the same way that we've done it in row number 4, and start every row by crocheting after our 3 turning chains on top of each of those 3 stitches 1 double crochet. This was my 1st double crochet, my 2nd and my 3rd double crochet. And in my 5th row, I now want to crochet for my cable pattern 6 back post double crochets. So this is now my 1st back post double crochet, my 2nd back post double crochet, my 3rd, number 4, my 5th back post double crochet, and my 6th and last back post double crochet. And in our previous round we always crocheted in between our cable patterns 1 basic double crochet. In my 5th round I now want to crochet onto that double crochet 2 double crochets to increase my number from 1 to 2. With this double crochets we separate our cable patterns from each other. So I now want to insert my hook on top of this following double crochet crochet and crochet 2 double crochets on top of it to increase my number. With this, our whole poncho will get wider too. And now I want to crochet again my 6 back post double crochets. This was my first, my second back post double crochet, my third, number 4, my 5th back post double crochet, and my 6th and last back post double crochet again for 1 cable pattern. And now again my basic double crochet is following right here, and again I want to crochet on top of it 2 double crochets. So in our 5th row we now always want to crochet our 6 back post double crochets and then crochet on top of this following basic double crochet 2 double crochets. Now please complete to crochet your 5th row like this, and once you're at the end of your 5th row, I want to show you how I want to complete this row and start my 6th row. I'm now at the end of my 5th row. The last thing that I've done is to crochet again my 6 back post double crochets, and the way I now want to close up my 5th row and start row number 6 is the way that we always want to do it. I now want to crochet on top of those 3 double crochets from my previous round, again my 3 double crochets. This is my first, my second, and my 3rd double crochet, and after that, to complete row number 5, I want to crochet again as usual on top of that 3rd chain 1 double crochet to complete my row. For the beginning of row number 6, I now want to crochet again 3 chain stitches, and as usual, these 3 chain stitches we want to count as our first stitch. Because of that, I just skip this first stitch right here at the edge, and then I want to crochet again on top of this 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets. So this is my first double crochet, my second double crochet, and my 3rd double crochet. And now my 6 stitches are following that we crocheted for our cable pattern. So what I want to do now is to start to crochet triple crochets, and in this row we now want to crochet the twist of our cable pattern with, as I said, triple crochets. So for triple crochet you want to yarn over twice and then skip this first, second and the 3rd stitch in the row, and you want to continue with this 4th stitch. Onto that 4th stitch you want to crochet 1 front post triple crochet. As I said, I yarned over twice and now want to insert my hook the same way that we've always done it. Then I want to yarn over again and pull my yarn through, and as you can see I do have now 4 loops on my hook. I want to yarn over and pull my yarn first through the first 2 loops. I have 3 loops left. Then I want to yarn over and pull my yarn through the following 2 loops. And then I want to yarn over a 3rd and last time and pull my yarn now through this last 2 loops too. Now we crocheted our first front post triple crochet. I want to continue with this following stitch. I want to yarn over twice and again insert my hook as usual by grabbing this stitch up like that. Then I want to yarn over again and pull my yarn through, and again I do have now 4 loops on my hook. I want to yarn over the first time and pull my yarn through the first 2 loops. Then I want to yarn over a second time and pull my yarn again through the 2 loops too. And one last time I want to yarn over and pull my yarn now through the last 2 loops. Now I want to crochet onto this following 6th and last stitch in my pattern. Again, 1 front post triple crochet like this. And for the twist, I now want to crochet 1 front post triple crochet onto that first stitch in the row. And now we want to skip these 2 stitches here and start with our first stitch for our cable pattern with a front post triple crochet. Then we want to continue with this following 2nd stitch here, and there we want to crochet again 1 front post triple crochet for our twist. And last time we do have now this last 3rd stitch in the row left, and on top of this we again want to crochet 1 front post triple crochet, and with that we now created a twist of our cable pattern. Now our 2 double crochets are following. On top of this first double crochet I want to crochet 1 double crochet, And on top of this following double crochet, I now want to crochet an increase again by crocheting 2 double crochets on top of it. And now again my 6 stitches for my cable pattern are following, and I want to show you one more time how I crochet my twist. I yarn over twice and skip this 3 stitches of my pattern and go on with this following 4th stitch, and there I crochet again 1 front post triple crochet on top of it. Then I want to crochet again onto that 5th stitch 1 front post triple crochet, and onto that 6th stitch I want to crochet 1 front post triple crochet too, and then I want to yarn over twice again and skip again those 2 front post double crochets to start again with this very first stitch of my pattern, and on top of this I again want to crochet 1 front post triple crochet. Now 2 stitches in my row are missing, and there I want to crochet now onto that 2nd stitch here 1 front post triple crochet, of course, and on top of this 3rd and last stitch I now want to insert again my hook and crochet my 3rd front post triple crochet, and because of that we created again this beautiful twist of our cable pattern. After that again my 2 double crochets are following, and I now want to crochet on top of this first double crochet 1 double crochet, and on top of the 2nd double crochet of my previous round I now want to crochet again 2 double crochet. So I increased again this number from 2 to 3 in this row with the double crochets. So please crochet now like this the twist of your cable patterns, and then crochet the following double crochet as 1 double crochet, and the following 2nd double crochet you always want to crochet in the 6th row as an increase with 2 double crochets. Once you're at the end of your row, I want to show you how we want to complete row number 6 and start to crochet row number 7. I'm now at the end of my 6th row. As you can see, I just crocheted again the twist of my cable pattern, and now at the end of my row I do have 3 double crochets left. What I now want to do on the end of each row is to crochet on each of that double crochets 1 double crochet on top. This is my first, my second, and my 3rd double crochet, and now I want to crochet, of course, onto that 3rd chain again 1 more double crochet to complete my 6th row. I now want to explain to you quickly how we want to continue to crochet our pattern. After our twists in our cable pattern, we always want to crochet 3 rows before we go on and repeat this twist. So what I now want to crochet in row number 7 is again, of course, this beginning as we always crochet it with 3 chains and my 3 double crochets, and then I want to crochet on top of each of that 6 stitches of my cable pattern again back post double crochets, and we want to crochet them as we do it usual by crocheting a normal double crochet as a back post double crochet instead of this triple crochets that we used while crocheting the twist. After our 7th row, we then want to again start our rows always the same way, and in row number 8 we then want to crochet front post double crochets at the 6 stitches at our cable pattern. In row number 9 we then want to crochet again the same way that we already crocheted in row number 7 by crocheting on top of those 6 stitches our back post double crochets. In between our cable patterns we always want to crochet on top of one of those stitches an increase. Because of that, in row number 7 we want to increase one of those double crochets in between our cable patterns to make in total 4 double crochets in between our cable pattern in row number 7. In row number 8 we then want to increase again one of those stitches from 4 to 5, and in row number 9 we then want to crochet again 1 increase on one of that stitches to go from 5 to 6, and in row number 10 in our 4th row after our twist we then want to crochet again 1 twist. I now want to show to you how I crochet the beginning of row number 7. So I want to start again by crocheting, of course, my 3 chains. Now I want to turn this whole thing around, and again I want to crochet now as we always do it for the beginning of this following row my double crochets on top of these 3 stitches here. So this is now my first double crochet, My second double crochet is following. And now I crochet already my third and last double crochet for the begin of my row. And now this cable pattern is following. This is the front side of our poncho, and what I now want to do is to crochet again from right to left my cable pattern by crocheting, as I said, for our 7th row, back post double crochets. For this you have to really put these 3 stitches in the front a little bit back so that the back hiding stitches reveal themselves. And I now want to crochet on top of each of those stitches 1 back post double crochet. This was my first one. I again want to push these 3 stitches here a little bit aside with my finger, and as you can see I do have now 2 more stitches left. We know that we have in total in our cable pattern 6 of those stitches. So after my first back post double crochet, I now want to crochet on top of that second stitch my second back post double crochet like this, and now I again want to push those 3 stitches aside, and there my third stitch is hiding itself, and of course I want to crochet on top of it too 1 back post double crochet. And now these 3 stitches are following, and I of course want to crochet on each of them 1 back post double crochet too, just like that. This is number 5. And my 6th and last back post double crochet, and after that my 3 double crochets are following that I always have in between my cable pattern, and I want to insert now my hook in any of them and crochet 1 increase. I now decide to crochet my increase at this very first stitch, so I want to insert my hook on top of it and crochet onto that double crochet 2 double crochets. And the following 2 double crochets I just want to crochet by crocheting on top of them 1 double crochet. So I now increase my number of double crochets from 3 to 4 in this row. In row number 8 you now want to increase again, as I said, 1 stitch. Then you will have, instead of your 4 double crochets, 5 double crochets in between your cable pattern, and your cable pattern you want to crochet in row number 8 by crocheting on top of each of those stitches 1 front post double crochet. Then you already can crochet row number 9 too by again crocheting onto your cable stitches the same way that we've done it in row number 7 by crocheting on each of your 6 stitches 1 back post double crochet. And one of your stitches in between your cable pattern you then want to crochet again as an increase, so in between your cable patterns you will have crocheted done in row number 9 in total 6 double crochets. And please just complete now those 3 rows, and then I want to show you one more time in row number 10 how I crochet my twists. I'm now nearly at the end of row number 9. Before we now continue to crochet in row number 10, again the twist for our cable pattern, I wanted to explain to you quickly how we crochet this whole thing and how you really can decide which of those stitches are stitches of our cable pattern and which are the double crochets in between our cable pattern. So as you can see, those stitches are laying on top of my work like this. These are the double crochets in between my cable patterns at the back of my work. When our work is laying on the back like this row and every uneven row too, we crochet on top of our 6 stitches for our cable pattern back post double crochets. When our work again is laying on the front side, we always crochet rows with front post double crochets. In every 4th row we then crochet our twist and crochet 3 rows in between our twists. I now want to complete row number 9 and already start to crochet row number 10 by chaining 3 chains as usual and crocheting my 3 double crochets for the begin of my 10th row. And once you've done that too, I want to show you one more time how we want to crochet our twist in row number 10. I'm now already at the beginning of my 10th row and this first cable pattern here. In every following 4th row, as I said, we now want to crochet again our twist. The last twist we crocheted in row number 6, and now in row number 10 I again want to crochet a twist, and I want to show you one more time how I do that. We always crochet in the rows with our twist front post triple crochets. So I yarned over twice and I want to again again skip those 3 stitches of my cable pattern and continue to crochet first onto that 4th stitch my first front post triple crochet like this. Then I want to crochet onto the following stitch 1 front post triple crochet 2, and one more time I want to yarn over twice and crochet onto that last and 6th stitch of my cable pattern 1 front post triple crochet. Now that I've crocheted those 3 front post triple crochets, I want to go on with this following 1st stitch of my cable pattern. And then I want to crochet onto that following 2 stitches again, front post triple crochets. Now I do have one last stitch left to create my twist right here. And I completed the crochet now in row number 10, my first twist. Like this, we now want to continue to crochet this row. Please remind yourself that we always want to increase in between our cable patterns one of those double crochets by inserting our hook on top of it and crocheting 2 double crochets. Like this now, please complete the crochet row number 10 too, and then you want to crochet already till you reach your 3rd twist too. Please now continue to crochet after this row 1 row with back post double crochets, then again 1 row with front post double crochets, and after that again 1 row with back post double crochets before you already can crochet in the following 4th row your 3rd twist too. Once you completed the crochet, the rows and your 3rd twist too, I want to show you in the following row after your 3rd twist how we want to increase the stitches at our cable pattern from 6 to 8 stitches. My work looks like this right now. The last thing that I've done is to crochet in this last row my 3rd twist from my cable pattern, and as you can see by each row it just gets more and more beautiful and pretty. What we now want to do is to crochet in the following row for our cable pattern instead of 6 of those stitches 8. This means we want to increase now our cable pattern from 6 to 8 stitches because we want to make it a bit wider while this whole thing is getting bigger. In between my cable patterns, I now crocheted in this row 11 double crochets. We now want to stop the crochet in the following row increases at our double crochets. I want to later show to you, I wrote this whole thing down, when we want to crochet again increases for our double crochets. But first in this following row, after our 3rd twist, we now, as I said, want to make our cable pattern a little bit wider by adding 2 more stitches. After the row with my 3rd twist, I now want to show you how we want to increase those 6 stitches for our cable pattern from 6 stitches to 8 stitches in this row. So what I want to do now is to crochet first my 3 back post double crochets that are hiding themselves a little bit after my twist from the previous round. This is now my 2nd back post double crochet, and now my 3rd back post double crochet is following. After that, before I now crochet those 3 stitches here, I want to insert my hook after my 3rd back post double crochet into this big gap. And there I then want to crochet 2 double crochets in. This was the 1st and my 2nd double crochet. After that, I now want to complete the crochet again my 3 back post double crochets in the row. This was my 1st, my 2nd and my 3rd back post double crochet. I now increase the number of the stitches of my cable pattern by crocheting those 2 double crochets from 6 to 8. Although we now want to stop from this row beginning to crochet in between our cable patterns on one of those stitches increases by 2 double crochets. So what we now want to do from this row here is to crochet on top of each of those double crochets just 1 double crochet without an increase. Once you complete to crochet this row, I want to show you when you then have to crochet again by your double crochets your increases. As you know, in our last row we now crocheted an increase of our cable pattern, and we did not crochet an increase with our double crochets in between our cable pattern. And you can take now a screenshot if you want of this paper right here, because actually we want to increase our double crochets again, but just not in this this row. So after our third twist of our cable pattern, we crocheted in between our cable pattern 11 double crochets, and we want to do that till we crocheted our fourth twist too. And after the row with our fourth twist till the row with our fifth twist, we then want to crochet on top of one of the double crochets one increase, so that we have in total in between our cable patterns 12 double crochets. After our fifth twist till our sixth twist, and including our sixth twist, we then want to crochet again one increase, so that we crocheted in between our cable patterns in total 13 double crochets. And then one last time after our sixth twist, we again want to crochet an increase on one of that double crochets to increase the number from 13 to 14 till the end of our poncho. Like this, we now want to increase. As I said, you can now just make a screenshot to really remind yourself where you have to crochet one increase on one of that double crochets. In our last row, we now increase the number of the stitches of our cable pattern from 6 to 8. I now want to show you on my work how I want to crochet down the twist with 8 stitches instead of 6. As you can see, I did not complete the row yet, where I increased my numbers of my cable stitches from 6 to 8. Once I've completed this row right now, I of course want to crochet instead of 6 of those stitches in my rows with my front and back post double crochets, 8 stitches. For the rows with my front post and back post double crochets at my cable patterns. So I now want to first crochet one row while increasing my number of the stitches, and then in every following row I of course want to crochet instead of 6, 8 stitches with front post and back post double crochets. As you know, in every following fourth row we then crochet again our twist, and I now want to explain to you quickly how we then want to crochet our twist with 8 stitches. So what we then want to do is to crochet for our twist again front post triple crochets, and instead of crocheting onto that fourth stitch in the row our first front post triple crochet, we then want to skip 4 stitches and crochet on top of the fifth stitch our first front post triple crochet for our twist. Then we want to complete the crochet to the left, crocheting our front post triple crochets, the row, and then we again want to start at the beginning of our cable stitches, and then we want to crochet onto that first stitch our first front post triple crochet and complete the crochet 4 instead of 3 front post triple crochets. So this is now the way that we want to crochet our twists, and what we now want to do is to crochet in total 7 of those twists. Once you completed the crochet your last row with your 7 twists, I want to show to you then how we want to create the openings for our arms. My work looks like this right now. What I've done is to crochet my 7 twists, as you can see, and after that I now want to create the openings for my arms. So what I want to do now is to count 3 of those cable patterns from the right, and from the left too. I already crocheted the left part and my middle part. And what I also want to tell to you is that after you crochet your 7 twists, your poncho can feel heavy. We now want to really separate our cable pattern, as you can see, in those 2 strands, and because of this it won't be so heavy anymore. That's something I wanted to tell you. So what I've done now is to go to this left side of my poncho. Right here I do have my neckline, and I counted, as I said, 3 of those cable patterns from my left and my right side. Then I inserted my yarn here at the 10th double crochet from this very first cable pattern to crochet my left side. So I inserted my yarn onto that 10th stitch and crocheted first 3 chains. After that I crocheted this whole thing. I want to show you on the right side how I've done that, because all of those 3 pieces we crochet exactly the same way. And then I started to separate my cable pattern and continued to crochet both of these pieces here, the left and my middle piece, by crocheting again 4 of those twists, and after my 4th twist I stop to crochet that. And with these 3 parts that we now crochet, the left one, the middle part that is actually made out of 6 of those cable patterns, and the right part that I now want to explain to you, we have those 2 openings on the right and on the left side. And therefore we later on can put our arms. This is why we do that now. So what I now want to show you is how I separated the cable pattern on this right part. As you can see, my right part is missing right now, and I want to tell you again that I crocheted 3 of those cable patterns from the left and from the right, and I want to start to crochet my right part now, right there where I stopped after my 7th twist. And then I want to crochet this till this 10th double crochet. 4 of those double crochets we will leave for our middle part. Here I do have 4 double crochets. And after my 6 cable patterns, I do have here 4 double crochets too. Then I want to insert my yarn from the left, as I told you, onto that 10th double crochet, and I already crocheted, as I said, my left part. Now I first want to show you how we want to continue by separating our cable patterns in this following row. And then basically we crochet 4 of those twists. I now already started to crochet my row after my 7th twist. What I now have done is to start my row from the right side of my poncho. So right this here is the edge of the right side of my poncho, and I already started to crochet, as I said, my row as usual. What I now want to do is to crochet first 4 back post double crochets. This was my first, my 2nd back post double crochet, my 3rd, and my 4th back post double crochet. And because we now want to separate our cable pattern into 2 pieces, what I now want to do is to crochet into that big space 2 double crochets. This was my first and my 2nd double crochet. What we now want to do in every following row is to crochet on top of those 2 double crochets in each row, 2 double crochets. So we don't want to crochet onto them back post or front post double crochets. We always want to continue to crochet onto them in between our cable patterns, 2 double crochets, like we've done it right now. So in my following row with my front post double crochets, I then will crochet 4 front post double crochets, 2 double crochets, and again 4 front post double crochets. So this is the way that we want to separate now our cable pattern. And after my 2 double crochets, I now want to crochet again 4 back post double crochets. This was my 2nd, my 3rd, and my 4th back post double crochet. And after that I now want to crochet as usual my double crochets. So what we now want to do for this right side is to crochet our 3 cable patterns just like that. In between we want to crochet our double crochets, and once you crocheted your 3rd cable pattern like this, you want to crochet 10 double crochets. In my case it will be this one, and then you want to crochet your 3 turning chains and just turn to this side of your work. So we want to now separate, as I said, our poncho into 3 pieces for our arm opening. And I now want to explain to you on the already finished crocheted side here how we want to crochet then the twist with our cable pattern and the 2 pieces that our cable pattern is now after this row made of. So this is now the middle part of my poncho. I showed you now how I crocheted this first row at my right side, and as you can see I already separated here on my front side this whole cable pattern. What we now want to do is to crochet, as I said, in each row the double crochets in between our cable pattern, the 2 as double crochets. With this we can be sure that those are separated, and then we want to crochet first again 3 rows, and on our 4th row we then want to crochet again our twist. And I want to explain to you quickly how we do that, we now have, as I said, 2 of those strands of our cable pattern, and we then want to crochet our twist at the 4th following row again by crocheting front post triple crochets. And for this we want to insert our hook now first onto that 3rd stitch and then crochet our 4th stitch. The first 2 stitches we again want to skip, and then we want to crochet to complete this twist here at this little cable pattern, the 1st and the 2nd front post triple crochet, and then we want to crochet our 2 double crochets and do the same thing with this following 2nd strand too. Like this, we now want to crochet in total for each of those 3 pieces 4 of those twists at our cable pattern. When you're at your last row where you crochet your 4th twist, you then want to crochet again 1 increase with this double crochets in between your cable pattern. This means you want to crochet on one of those 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets, so that you have in total in between your cable pattern, instead of 2, 3 double crochets. And you can now already crochet actually the following step too, because once you crocheted 3 of those parts, this is now my middle part, as I said the right part I do have now to finish, you can close this whole thing up. You want to then crochet after you've completed your 3 pieces, starting from this right side of your poncho again, 8 more rows. And while you crochet those 8 rows, you want to close up those 2 openings. I want to explain to you on that left side how we want to close up the openings at this following row after our 4th twist. What we then want to crochet is on top of this last stitch here at the edge 1 double crochet, and then we want to crochet on top of this first stitch here at the edge 1 double crochet too, and then you want to crochet, as I said, like that in total 8 more rows. In those 8 rows you want to crochet 1 more twist with your cable pattern as usual at the following 4th row, and then you don't want to crochet 1 twist more at the 8th row. This means you want to leave your cable pattern without a following twist in your 8th row. Instead you want to crochet on that row 1 row without crocheting the twist. In the 8th and last row, you, as I said, don't want to crochet your front post double crochets as a twist. And once you completed to do all of that, the very last big work step, I want to show to you how I created a beautiful edge around the front opening and this edge here. I just completed to crochet my poncho in the length by crocheting 8 more rows, as I told you. I now want to explain to you how you can crochet these beautiful edges around your opening. So what I've done for this edge is to grab up my white yarn, and then I went to my neckline of my poncho, and there I searched for this very first twist. I added my twist, as you can see, at this row, and right at this row here I started to crochet these patterns. In between my patterns I always have 3 rows with double crochets before my next pattern is following into the 4th row. So this is something I wanted to show you, although when I completed to crochet the opening on this front sides and my waistband, I later on want to add 7 buttons. What I now want to do is to show you how I crochet those beautiful edges around the waistband. As I said, at this opening on the front we always want to skip 3 of those rows and crochet into our 4th row this beautiful pattern, and I now want to show to you how I crochet this pattern on my waistband. I now want to explain to you how I crochet this beautiful pattern around my front openings and my waistband. As I said, at our front openings we always skip 3 rows with double crochets, and at our waistband we now want to leave in between our beautiful patterns 5 stitches. So this is now the first stitch that I want to leave, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and the 5th stitch, and onto that 6th stitch I always want to crochet down again my beautiful pattern. I want to do that with triple crochets. So I yarned over twice, and now I want to insert my hook onto that 6th following stitch and crochet my first triple crochet. After that I want to chain 1 chain, and in total I want to crochet like this now 7 triple crochets into the same stitch. So this is now my 2nd one, and And like this, we now really want to complete to crochet our beautiful waistband. Always crochet after your triple crochets 1 chain, then continue to crochet 7 in total into the same stitch, and again skip the following 5 stitches and insert your hook into that 6th stitch and repeat this whole thing all over again. And once you're finished with this last work step, I want to show you the beautiful result. As my last work step, I now sewed up all of my yarn ends on my poncho, and although of course sewed up my buttons too. And as you can see, my poncho just turned out very beautiful and pretty. Please let me know in the comments if your poncho turned out just beautiful as mine. I would really like to know if you liked the instructions, and if you did, please make sure to like this video. Also, already take care that you subscribe my channel so that we see each other the next time with our next project again.